Witold Pilecki was a Polish soldier, a rittmeister of the Polish Cavalry during the Second Polish Republic, the founder of the secret Polish Army resistance group in German-occupied Poland in November 1939, and a member of the underground Home Army, which was formed in February 1942. As the author of Witold's report, the first intelligence report on Auschwitz concentration camp, Pilecki enabled the Polish government in exile to convince the Allies that the Holocaust was taking place. During World War II, he volunteered for a Polish resistance operation to get imprisoned in the Auschwitz concentration camp in order to gather intelligence and escape. While in the camp, Pilecki organized a resistance movement and as early as 1941, informed the Western Allies of Nazi Germany's Auschwitz atrocities. He escaped from the camp in 1943 after nearly 3 years of imprisonment. Pilecki took part in the Warsaw Uprising in August 1944. He remained loyal to the London-based Polish government in exile and was executed in 1948 by the Stalinist secret police atrocities PHZSTWA on charges of working for foreign imperialism, thought to be a euphemism for MI6. Until 1989, information on his exploits and fate was suppressed by the Polish communist regime. As a result of his deeds, he is considered as one of the greatest wartime heroes. In the foreword to the book The Auschwitz Volunteer, Beyond Bravery, Michael Szydrich, the chief rabbi of Poland, wrote as follows: "When God created the human being, God had in mind that we should all be like Captain Witold Pilecki, of blessed memory." In the introduction to that book, Norman Davis, a British historian, wrote, "If there was an Allied hero who deserved to be remembered and celebrated, this was a person with few peers." At the commemoration event of International Holocaust Remembrance Day held in the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum on January 27, 2013, Ryszard Schnepf, the Polish ambassador to the U.S., described Pilecki as a diamond among Poland unregistered trademark S heroes, and the highest example of Polish patriotism. Early life: Witold Pilecki was born May 13, 1901, in Oleniec east of Lake Ladoga in Karelia, Russia, where his family had been forcibly resettled by Imperial Russian authorities after the suppression of Poland's January Uprising of 1863–64. His grandfather, Jakub Józef Pilecki, had spent 7 years in exile in Siberia for his part in the rising. In 1910, Pilecki moved with his family to Wilno, where he completed commercial school and joined the secret ZHP Scouts organization. In 1916, he moved to Oryol, Russia, where he founded a local ZHP group. During World War I, in 1918, Pilecki joined a ZHP Scout section of the Polish self-defense units under General Władysław Wetko in the Wilno area. When his sector of the front was overrun by the Bolsheviks, his unit for a time conducted partisan warfare behind enemy lines. Pilecki then joined the regular Polish army and took part in the Polish-Soviet War of 1919–1920, serving under Major Jerzy Dąbrowski. He fought in the Polish retreat from Kiev as part of a cavalry unit defending Grodno. On August 5, 1920, he joined the 211th Uhlan Regiment and fought in the crucial Battle of Warsaw and at Rudniki Forest and took part in the liberation of Wilno. He was twice awarded the Ksija I Quarter-Waylakic for gallantry. After the Polish-Soviet War ended in 1921 with the Peace of Riga, Pilecki passed his high school graduation exams in Wilno and passed the exams for a non-commissioned officer position in the Polish Army. He also studied at the Stefan Batory University in Wilno and rebuilt his family estate, ruined during the war. He then took officer training courses. He was assigned to a cavalry regiment in 1926 as ensign, or the second lieutenant of the reserves. While in the reserves, he actively supported local paramilitary training activities. In the interbellum, he worked on his family's farm in the village of Skตั๋ and was known as a social work activist and an amateur painter. On April 7, 1931, he married Maria Pilecka, now copyright E. Ostrowska. They had 2 children, born in Wilno, Andrzej and Zofia. In 1938, he received the Silver Cross of Merit for his involvement in the community and social work. World War II. Shortly before the outbreak of World War II, on August 26, 1939, Pilecki was mobilized as a cavalry platoon commander. He was assigned to the 19th Infantry Division under Jakub Jezierski, part of the Polish Army Prusy. His unit took part in heavy fighting against the advancing Germans during the invasion of Poland and was partially destroyed. Pilecki's platoon withdrew to the southeast, toward Warsaw and the Romanian bridgehead, and was incorporated into the recently formed 41st Infantry Division, in which he served as divisional second-in-command under Major Jan Witold Pilecki. During that conflict, Pilecki and his men destroyed 7 German tanks, shot down 1 aircraft, and destroyed 2 more on the ground. On September 17, the Soviet Union invaded eastern Poland pursuant to the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. Involved in more heavy fighting on 2 fronts, Pilecki's division was disbanded by September 22, parts of it surrendering to their enemies. Pilecki returned to Warsaw with his commander, Major Witold Pilecki. On November 9, 1939, the 2 men founded the Secret Polish Army, one of the first underground organizations in Poland. TAP provided military expertise and leadership to the armed confederation. Both KZ and KN were clandestine incarnations of the pre-war national radical movement. The leader of both KN and KZ was Bolesław Pilecki. Pilecki became organizational commander of TAP as it expanded to cover not only Warsaw but Siedlce, Radom, Lublin, and other major cities of central Poland. By 1940, TAP had approximately 8,000 men, some 20 machine guns, and several anti-tank rifles. Later, the organization was incorporated into the Union for Armed Struggle, later renamed and better known as the Home Army. Within AK, TAP elements became the core of the ˈvitɔlt unit. Auschwitz. In 1940, Pilecki presented to his superiors a plan to enter Germany's Auschwitz concentration camp at Owa and registered trademark SIM, gather intelligence on the camp from the inside, and organize inmate resistance. Until then, little had been known about the Germans' running of the camp, and it was thought to be an internment camp or large prison rather than a death camp. His superiors approved the plan and provided him with a false identity card in the name of Tomasz Serafiński. On September 19, 1940, he deliberately went out during a Warsaw street roundup and was caught by the Germans, along with some 2,000 innocent civilians. After 2 days' detention in the Light Horse Guards barracks, where prisoners suffered beatings with rubber truncheons, Pilecki was sent to Auschwitz and was assigned inmate number 4859. At Auschwitz, while working in various commandos and surviving pneumonia, Pilecki organized an underground union of military organizations. Many smaller underground organizations at Auschwitz eventually merged with ZOW. ZOW's tasks were to improve inmate morale, provide news from outside, distribute extra food and clothing to members, set up intelligence networks, and train detachments to take over the camp in the event of a relief attack by the Home Army, arms airdrops, or an airborne landing by the Polish 1st Independent Parachute Brigade, based in Britain. ZOW provided the Polish underground with invaluable information about the camp. From October 1940, ZOW sent reports to Warsaw, and beginning in March 1941, Pilecki's reports were being forwarded via the Polish resistance to the British government in London. In 1942, Pilecki's resistance movement were also broadcasting details on the number of arrivals and deaths in the camp, and the inmates' unregistered trademark state and their conditions using a radio transmitter that was built by camp inmates. The secret radio station, built over 7 months using smuggled parts, was broadcasting from the camp until the autumn of 1942, when it was dismantled by Pilecki's men after concerns that the Germans might discover its location because of one of our fellows' big mouth. These reports were a principal source of intelligence on Auschwitz for the Western Allies. Pilecki hoped that either the Allies would drop arms or troops into the camp, or that the Home Army would organize an assault on it from outside. Such plans, however, were all judged impossible to carry out. Meanwhile, the Gestapo redoubled its efforts to ferret out ZOW members, succeeding in killing many of them. Pilecki decided to break out of the camp, with the hope of personally convincing Home Army leaders that a rescue attempt was a valid option. When he was assigned to a night shift at a camp bakery outside the fence, he and two comrades overpowered a guard, cut the phone line and escaped on the night of 26/April 27, 1943, taking with them documents stolen from the Germans. Outside the camp, after several days, he made contact with the Home Army units. On August 25, 1943, Pilecki reached Warsaw and joined the Home Army's intelligence department. The Home Army, after losing several operatives and reconnoitering the vicinity of the camp, including the Psycho-CME Stefan Jezierski, decided that it lacked sufficient strength to capture the camp without Allied help. Pilecki's detailed report was sent to London, where the scale of Nazi atrocities at Auschwitz was thought to be grossly exaggerated. The British authorities refused the Home Army air support for an operation to help the inmates escape. The Home Army in turn decided that it did not have enough force to storm the camp by itself. In 1944, the Russian army, despite being within attacking distance of the camp, showed no interest in a joint effort with the Home Army and the ZOW to free the camp. Until he became involved in the Warsaw Uprising, Pilecki remained in charge of coordinated ZOW and AK activities, and provided what limited support he was able to offer to ZOW. On February 23, 1944, Pilecki was promoted to cavalry captain and joined a secret anti-communist organization, NIE, formed as a secret organization within the Home Army with the goal of preparing resistance against a possible Soviet occupation. Warsaw Uprising. When the Warsaw Uprising broke out on August 1, 1944, Pilecki volunteered for the Kiedyś II Group and fought in as a platoon, 1st Company Warszawianka of National Armed Forces. At first, he fought in the northern city center as a simple private, without revealing his actual rank. Later, as many officers fell, he disclosed his true identity and accepted command. His forces held a fortified area called the Great Bastion of Warsaw. It was one of the most outlying partisan redoubts and caused considerable difficulties for German supply lines. The bastion held for 2 weeks in the face of constant attacks by German infantry and armor. On the capitulation of the uprising, Pilecki hid some weapons in a private department and went into captivity. He spent the rest of the war in German prisoner of war camps at Angstrom Ambinowice and Murnau. Communist Poland. On July 9, 1945, Pilecki was liberated from the POW camp, and soon afterwards he joined the 2nd Polish Corps, which was stationed in Italy, where he wrote a monograph on Auschwitz. As the relations between the Polish government in exile and the Polish Committee of National Liberation worsened, in September 1945, Pilecki accepted orders from General Władysław Anders, commander of the 2nd Polish Corps, to return to Poland under a false identity and gather intelligence to be sent to the government in exile. Pilecki returned to Poland in October 1945, where he proceeded to organize his intelligence network. In early 1946, the Polish government in exile decided that the post-war political situation afforded no hope of Poland's liberation and ordered all partisans still in the forests either to return to their normal civilian lives or to escape to the west. In July 1946, Pilecki was informed that his cover was blown and ordered to leave. He declined. In April 1947, he began collecting evidence on Soviet atrocities and on the prosecution of Poles and their executions or imprisonment in Soviet Gulag camps. Arrest and execution. On May 8, 1947, he was arrested by the Ministry of Public Security. Prior to trial, he was repeatedly tortured. The investigation on Pilecki unregistered trademark S activities was supervised by Colonel Roman Jezierski. He was interrogated by Colonel Jakub Zef ranking Q. Angstrom 1 Quarter or skʲi, and Lieutenants, S. Angstrom Iskowski, W. Krokzierski, J. Krossel, T. Sawoink, Eugenius Kimzark, and S. Alaborski, men who were especially famous for their savagery. But Pilecki sought to protect other prisoners and revealed no sensitive information. On March 3, 1948, a show trial took place. Testimony against him was presented by a future Polish Prime Minister, Jakub Zef Sierankiewicz, himself an Auschwitz survivor. Pilecki was accused of illegal crossing of the borders, use of forged documents, not enlisting with the military, carrying illegal arms, espionage for General Władysław Anders, espionage for foreign imperialism, and preparing an assassination on several officials from the Ministry of Public Security of Poland. Pilecki denied the assassination charges, as well as espionage. He pleaded guilty to the other charges. On May 15, with 3 of his comrades, he was sentenced to death. 10 days later, on May 25, 1948, Pilecki was executed at the Warsaw Mokota W prison on Rakowiecka Street, by Staff Sergeant Piotr Szczyś. During his last conversation with his wife he told her, "I cannot live. They killed me." Because OSHA and registered trademarks him, Auschwitz compared with them was just a trifle. His final words before his execution at the Rakowiecka prison in May 1948 were "Oe long live free Poland Euro." Szczyś was nicknamed by prisoners the Butcher of the Mokota prison. Pilecki's place of burial has never been found but is thought to be somewhere within Power Skji Cemetery. A symbolic gravestone was erected in his memory at Ostrowa-Mazowiecka Cemetery after the fall of communism in Poland. In 2012, Powązki was partially excavated in an effort to find Pilecki's remains. Pilecki's conviction was part of the prosecution of Home Army members and others connected with the Polish government in exile in London. In 2003, the prosecutor, skʲi, and several others involved in the trial were charged with complicity in Pilecki's murder. Serafiński escaped similar proceedings, having died. Skʲi died in 2004, before the trial was concluded. Witold Pilecki and all others sentenced in the staged trial were rehabilitated on October 1, 1990. In 1995, he received posthumously the Order of Polonia Restituta, and in 2006 he received the Order of the White Eagle, the highest Polish decoration. On September 6, 2013, he was posthumously promoted by the Minister of National Defense to the rank of colonel. Popular culture. A number of books have been written about Pilecki, most of which are listed below under references and further reading. In addition, Pilecki's comprehensive 1945 report on his undercover mission at Auschwitz was published in English for the first time in 2012, under the title The Auschwitz Volunteer, Beyond Bravery, and was hailed by the New York Times as a historical document of the greatest importance. Films about Pilecki include Schmiera rittmeister Pileckiego, starring Polish actor Mek Probos. Against the Odds, Resistance in Nazi Concentration Camps, and Heroes of War, Poland, produced by Sky Vision for the History Channel UK for release in 2014. Grey Financial Ventures, LLC has recently announced plans to adapt Pilecki's life into a feature film, titled Operation Auschwitz. Screenwriter Andy Weiss is currently listed as part of the production team led by producer, David Aaron Gray. Swedish heavy metal band Sabaton wrote a song about Pilecki called Inmate 4859 for their album Heroes. Polish Army Career Summary: Second Lieutenant from 1925, First Lieutenant from November 11, 1941, Captain from November 11, 1943, Colonel from September 6, 2013. Awards, Decorations and Citations: Knight of the Order of the White Eagle, Commander's Cross of the Order of Polonia Restituta Euro, Cross of Valor, awarded twice, Silver Cross of Merit, Army of Central Lithuania Cross of Merit, War Medal 1918-1921, Decade of Independence Regained, Auschwitz Cross, Warsaw Uprising Cross, Order of the Star of Perseverance, see also. Witold's Report, Polish Contribution to World War II, Western Betrayal, Jan Karski, NIE. Bowetzler Report, 1951 Mokota W Prison Execution, Angstrom Urkaus Pilecki, Notes. References: Foote, Michael Richard Daniel, Six Faces of Courage. Secret Agents Against Nazi Tyranny. Witold Pilecki, Leo Cooper, ISBN A0-413-39430-1. Lewis, John E., The Mammoth Book of True War Stories, Carroll and Graf Publishers, ISBN A0-7867-0629-5. Piłkarski, Konstanty R., Escaping Hell, The Story of a Polish Underground Officer in Auschwitz and Buchenwald, Dunjurin Press Limited, ISBN A1-55002-071-4, Staff Correspondent, Polish Left-Wing Relations, No Fusion as Yet, The Times, 3, retrieved March 12, 2009. Trek. Camel, Double Life of Witold Pilecki, the Auschwitz volunteer who uncovered Holocaust secrets, The Times, retrieved March 16, 2009. Wyman, David S. Garlinski, Józef, Review, Józef Garlinski. Fighting Auschwitz, The Resistance Movement in the Concentration Camp, American Historical Review 81, 1168-1169, doi, 10.2307/1853043, ISNA 0002-8762, JSTORA 1853043. Further reading, skʲi Wspomnienia OWA and Registered Trademark Simski, Auschwitz Memoirs. Greco Cube W., 1968. Syra, Adam. Ochotnik to Auschwitz Witold Pilecki 1901 1948, volunteer for Auschwitz. OWA unregistered trademark SIM, 2000. ISBN 83-912000-3-5, Syra, Adam. Spadochroniats Urban Paratrooper. OWA unregistered trademark SIM, 2005. Syra, Adam and Jan Wysoki. Rittmeister Witold Pilecki. Oficina Wydawnicza Wołomin, 1997. ISBN 83-86857-27-7, Garlinski, Józef. Fighting Auschwitz, The Resistance Movement in the Concentration Camp. Fawcett, 1975. ISBN 0-449-22599-2 reprinted by Time Life Education, 1993. ISBN 0-8094-8925-2, Goran, W. Ochotnik Duowa and registered trademark Simia, volunteer for Auschwitz. Calvarianum, Auschwitz Museum, 1992. Patricelli, M. Il Volontario, The Volunteer. Laterza 2010. ISBN 88-420-9188-X, Piłkarski, Kun. Escaping Hell, The Story of a Polish Underground Officer in Auschwitz and Buchenwald. Dunjurin Press, 1989. ISBN 1-55002-071-4, ISBN 978-1-55002-071-7, Pilecki, W. The Auschwitz Volunteer, Beyond Bravery. Aquila Polonica, 2012. ISBN 978-1-60772-010-2, ISBN 978-1-60772-009-6, Wysoki, Jan Rittmeister Pilecki. Pomost, 1994. ISBN 83-85209-42-5. External links, The Auschwitz Volunteer, 2, Tablet Magazine Essay Vladislav Davidson, Meet the Man Who Sneaked into Auschwitz. The Man Who Volunteered for Auschwitz, Witold Pilecki's Report from Auschwitz in English, Polish, Witold Pilecki's Report from Auschwitz in Polish, Polish, additional reports of Pilecki, Polish, and Zgiem Kobos, Witold Pilecki W. Witold 20 Wieku, Zg 5, 1998, Jakub Zef Garlinski, The Polish Underground Movement in Auschwitz Concentration Camp, The Murder of Cavalry Captain Witold Pilecki, IMDb page for film Operation Auschwitz.